Hello 3DP, hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe and looking after yourself. I'm going to read a little bit of our book, our class book called Fortunately the Milk. And this is for all of year 3. We thought between Mrs. Lewis and I, we thought we would share of where we are at the moment. But before I start, I thought I would give you some words from the text today that I would like you to find the meanings for. So here are some words. What I would like you to do, you can freeze frame the video, and I would like you to find out these words, because these words will appear in the text. So let's see, I will show it to you at the end as well, and your task is to get yourself a dictionary and find these words. Okay, on with the story. Now, I'm going to recap a little bit. You may recall that Professor Stegg and Dad, they had taken the jewel out of Splod's eye, and then the volcano erupted. But unfortunately, Dad dropped the milk. Okay, so let's carry on to where we left off. You look so sad, Professor Stegg told me. I am. It's the milk. My children are breakfastless. The milk, said Professor Stegg. Of course, and with that, Professor Stegg pressed the red button with his heavily armoured tail. There was a zoom, a twerp, a fang, and we were hurtling through the cosmic world. And then it was dark. Very dark. Oops, said Professor Stegg. Overshot a little. Only by a week, though. Hold on. Professor Stegg leaned over the side of the basket. Excuse me, he said. Is there anyone around? Only me, said a very surprised-sounding voice from below us. The priest of Splod. Who is that up there in the sky? Is it a bird? You do not sound like a bird. I am not a bird, said Professor Stegg. I am a marvellous yet mysterious and prophetic voice, telling you a mighty prophecy. So mighty that, very mighty indeed. Listen, when a huge and good-looking, spiny-backed individual, monster, I told him, the prophecy said monster, accompanied by a scrawny human being of revolting appearance, said Professor Stegg. That was not necessary. Lands in a floatable person carrier, you must not sacrifice them. You must instead take them to the volcano and give them the eye of Splod. And this shall be the way that you shall know them. The human being will hold up some milk. Is that the prophecy? Said the voice. Yes. Is there anything about crops in it? I'm afraid not. Oh well. Thanks anyway, prophetic and mysterious voices from the air. I pressed the red button. Daylight. We were in the middle of a very familiar volcanic eruption. Quickly, I said, give me the emerald. A little way away, I could see a balloon being blown through the sky while fire and ash were swept around it by the wind. I could see me in the balloon, standing next to Professor Stegg, with my mouth open. I looked miserable. Professor Stegg, my Professor Stegg, gave me the emerald. I raced down the rope ladder and placed the emerald back into the face's eye. Then, as the volcano stopped erupting, I looked around for the milk. I knew it had landed on Splod's head when it fell. Fortunately, the milk had fallen into a small drift of volcanic ash and was unharmed. I picked it up, brushed it off, and started back up the balloon's ladder. Professor Stegg pressed the button. The sky went dark. We were floating above a landscape of ominous towers and disquieting castles. It was not a friendly place. Bats flew across the sky in huge flocks, crowding out the waning moon. I don't like this place, I told the professor. I don't see why not, he said. It looks as if it would be very nice when the sun comes up. And you may recall the castle. There was a loud flute and where the bats had been fluttering, several pallid people were now standing. They all had sharp teeth. "We are vampires," they said. "What is this? Who are you? Answer us, or we will dissect you." "I am Professor Steg," boomed the Stegosaurus. "This is my assistant. We are on an important mission. I am trying to get back to the present. My assistant is trying to get home to the future for breakfast." At the word breakfast, all the vampires looked very excited. "We have not had our breakfast," they told us. "We normally have wiggly worms with orange juice on them. Orange juice makes worms even wigglier, like wandering spaghetti. But if we cannot eat worms, we will eat assistant or even roast professor." One of the vampires took out a fork and looked me up and down in a hungry sort of way. The boldest, most bulging-eyed, rattiest of the vampires said, "What is this box?" "It is my finest invention," began Professor Steg proudly, but I interrupted. "It is to keep sandwiches in," I said. And there we are. There's the vampire. "Sandwiches?" said the vampire. "Sandwiches," I said, with as much certainty as I could muster. "We thought it was a time machine," said the head vampire with a sly, sharp smile. "And we could use it to invade the world." "Definitely sandwiches," I told him. "What happens if I press this button then?" asked the lady vampire. She had long black hair that covered most of her face and peered out at the world with one suspicious eye. She pressed the button. We went forward 6 hours in time. "See," said the professor happily, "all this place needed to brighten it up a little is a bit of sunshine." And there we are. She pressed the button. The head vampire said, "What?" and dissolved into a cloud of oily black smoke. So did all his friends. And there we are. Doesn't look very nice, does it? "Yes," I said, "it is a nice place here after all, in the daylight." The professor tinkered with the jewels and the string and the buttons. Then he said, "I think I've got it properly fine-tuned now. This next press should bring you back to your own time, place and breakfast." But before the tip of his tail could touch the button, a voice said, "I'll explain later. Fate of the world at stake." A hand grabbed, and the milk, which I had carried safely for so long, was gone. I turned in time to catch a glimpse of a fine-looking gentleman with his back to me, holding my milk, and then the hole in space through which he had reached was closed. "My milk!" "He said he'll explain later," said the professor. "I'll be inclined to believe him." The hole in space opened again. A voice said, "Catch!" And there we go. There's the hole, and there's the other hole. "Catch!" And the milk came rocketing through. Fortunately, the milk struck me in the stomach, and in clutching my hands to my belly, I caught the milk. "There," said the professor, "everything is back to normal." "He did say he'd explain later," I pointed out, and that wasn't much of an explanation. So what I'm going to ask you now is, what is going on with the hole, the two holes? Why did he throw the milk? Who is that fine-looking gentleman? And what explanation could it be? there's your questions. You need to find out, you need to work out what the questions are. I'm going to show you the words again and see if you can now maybe rewind if you want to and see now that if you've got the definitions, you can work out the meaning of the text a little bit more. Okay, I will read again perhaps on Friday, so watch out for the next instalment of the story. We're going to share with Miss Lewis, but I hope you stay safe. Keep an eye out for extra work that's coming out this week, and look after yourself, and it'd be really, really nice to hear from you, okay? Look after yourself, stay safe, and see you soon. Bye!